Hi, it's Rachel, and it's been a while since I've posted a video. I've been having some really bad migraine issues. They were triggered by my sinuses getting all agitated with all the pollen in the air. We've had a lot of dust and pollen in Santa Cruz. So one thing I've been practicing a lot during this time has been a lot of twists and a lot of side bends, because when I tend to get headachy, I kind of do a lot of this. My neck, my shoulders, my jaw clench. I don't know why. I think that will help, but that's what I tend to do. So I've been doing a lot of work relaxing this area. So that's what we're going to work on tonight. So we're going to start sitting. And I'm going to have us work through a breathing practice. And you can sit in any comfortable position, and I just want to remind you, all of this practice is optional, and you are the expert on your body. So please only do what feels right and comfortable and appropriate for you. And that includes with the breath work. So if it feels at all inappropriate what I'm suggesting, just come to taking deep, steady, attentive breaths. And that's great. If you would like to try, we're going to do alternate nostril breathing. I like to do that. It just really helps bring my attention to my breath in a different way. So you generally take your right hand and take the first two fingers and bring them towards the palm. And then I'm going to take my ring finger and block off that left nostril, and I'm going to breathe in through the right, block off that nostril with my thumb, breathe out through the left. And I'm breathing in through the right, breathing out through the left. And we're just going to keep going back and forth. Breathing in through one nostril, out through the other. In through that nostril, out through the other. And as you breathe this way, notice how it feels for you. And after your next round, go ahead and just bring your hands down and return to deep, normal, full breaths for a few moments. And just check in with yourself, noticing how you're feeling. Noticing if you can really sit bearing a lot of weight in your pelvis rather than holding with your shoulders, your neck, or your jaw. If you like to take time to form an intention or a dedication for your practice, please feel free to do so. Absolutely no obligation. And if your eyes were closed, go ahead and open them up. And if your legs were crossed, let's switch the crossing of your legs. If you were sitting in any other kind of a position, feel free to stay in your comfortable position. Okay, and we're going to open our arms out wide into cactus and drop the shoulders away from the ears. My elbows are straight out from my shoulders, or maybe a little bit forward. They're not back, because I want to feel myself broadening in my upper back. My elbows are bent at a right angle. And I'm breathing very deeply into the back of my chest. And now right here, I'm gonna move as though I was pushing weight with my arms, as though I was pushing through water. And I'm gonna just draw my upper arms to be parallel to each other, my lower arms to be parallel to each other, shoulder width apart. And then like I'm pushing through weight or water again, I'm gonna come back to my initial cactus position. And I'm gonna do this a few more times following my own flow of breath. I personally like to exhale when I come forward, inhale when I come back. It might feel better the other way for you, and that is totally fine. Good. Beautiful. And then bring those arms down. And lifting up very strongly through the chest, open up through the collarbones and draw the low ribs down towards the pelvis. And drop your chin towards your chest. So from the side, I'm not slumping here. I'm staying lifted through my collarbone, lifted through my breastbone, and just dropping my chin to my chest. And then I'm gonna roll my right ear towards my right shoulder. And I'm just gonna relax my jaw, breathe deeply, roll my chin back into my chest, and then roll my left ear over my left shoulder, relaxing that jaw, letting the neck be relaxed, coming back to center. I'm going to help lift my head back up, stretch out my legs. Okay, we are going to do a twisting seated pose next. You're going to have a variety of options for your seated position. The easiest one for the hips, I think, would be to keep your left leg stretched out and to bend your right leg into kind of a half Baddha Konasana here. If it feels doable, you could try crossing your right ankle with a flexed foot over the extended left leg with the over the knee. And if you would like to, you could try coming to full Agni Stambhasana, stacking the right calf over the left with your feet flexed. If this feels challenging, you could always try sitting up on a height, folded blanket. And if you have a lot more space between your right knee and your left foot than I do, feel free to put a folded up pillow or cushion or a yoga block in that space. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn towards that right leg, and I'm bringing my left hand towards the outside of that right thigh, and I'm relaxing my jaw, and I could stay here. I could begin to lengthen forward, and remember, I could be doing this with my leg further forward. I could be doing this with my foot on the ground. So take the leg position that works for you. And if you're very mobile, this is early in our practice, we aren't warmed up, you can come down a little lower and stretch your arms out long. You'll notice I'm not really doing a side bend. My belly isn't facing the camera. My belly is coming towards the floor here. I'm really twisting from the very base of my pelvis. I feel myself drawing that right thigh bone back. Good. And I'm relaxing my neck, and I'm relaxing my jaw. And then I'm gonna walk my hands in if they were stretched out, and I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna come back to center. My right foot's flexed. I'm gonna take my right hand to the right foot, left hand by that side. Again, I could do this in either of the other leg positions, right? And now from this position, If I wanted to come a little further, and remember, listen to your body today, you could slowly begin to lengthen out over that right leg. I'm taking my right elbow to my right arch of my foot, twisting through my belly and joining my palms. Now this might not be a place you want to come to, so remember, you could come back to leaning a little forward or being upright here, whatever works for you. And breathe deeply wherever you are, flexing your feet, opening your collarbones and your shoulder blades away from each other. Good. And then wherever you are, slowly come back to center. Whew. And we'll take our legs on the second side. And remember, you could bring your left foot to the inner thigh, right thigh. You could cross your left ankle over the right thigh. Or you could stack your legs in Agni Stambhasana. You could use a height. Or you could put something under your leg on this side. Remember, you might not be the same on both sides. So once you've kind of figured your pose out, we'll add the twist. So here's my left knee, and I'm gonna bring my right hand towards my left knee. My left hand's on the floor behind me. I'm letting my right pelvic bone roll around that right femur head over here. So I'm letting my pelvis come with me. If I am more mobile here, and remember that does not mean you're a better person, just means you're more mobile. If you would like to, you could walk your hands further forward, bend your elbows a little bit. Remember, you'll notice I'm not doing a side bend. I'm really twisting from my pelvis. Good, and opening between the shoulders, opening between the collarbones. My neck and jaw aren't holding any tension here. Good. Keep breathing. And then walk back up with your hands. Oof. And then we're going to go ahead and turn towards that left foot. And I'm going to bring my left hand to the left foot and the right hand to the floor behind me. And I'm just going to twist. And if I feel like I have more mobility, again, I'm moving from my pelvis. My left pelvic bone is coming with me. And I can bring possibly my left elbow or upper arm to the arch of that foot and join the palms. I could take some kind of a halfway point if that feels better for me. So definitely work with what works for you. Play with what works for you. And breathe, open the shoulders, draw the shoulder blades down away from your ears. And we're going to slowly unwind ourselves back to center. And stretch out your legs. Whew. Okay, from here, we are going to move onto all fours. I'm going to be having us do some downward dog and moving in and out of lunges from downward dog. I know not everybody likes to do that, so feel free if you do not do downward dog. Speaking of dogs, my dog just snored back there. I don't know if you can hear her. But anyway, if you do not want to do downward dog for any reason, you can do cat-cow stretches, which are what I'm demonstrating right here. Oh, did I wake you up, Nellie? Sorry. And you'll inhale, lengthen through the breastbone. Exhale, arch the spine. If you prefer to, you could come into downward facing dog. Wherever you are, take a few breaths. So taking a couple of breaths here in downward facing dog position. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our right leg forward into a lunge. And push back through that left heel and just take a couple of deep, full breaths here. If you're feeling like you would like to experiment with lifting your hands off the floor, make sure the belly is also off the thigh, right? Good. And then we'll bring both hands down. I'm going to put both hands on the inside of my right foot. I'm going to turn on both of my feet and walk my hands towards the midline of my body. And then here, I'm going to lengthen forward with my arms a little bit, opening my arms shoulder width apart. Let my head and neck go. Draw my shoulder blades back away from my ears. And I could have my knees bent if I was feeling any pain in that sitting bone area. And take a couple of breaths here. Feeling the length along both sides of the body and letting the neck be soft. See, I can wobble my head around. Now I'm going to walk both of my hands to the left. And I'm going to turn my left foot out and pivot my hips. And come into the lunge on the left. And I'm going to draw my shoulder blades back away from my ears. And again, I could choose to keep my hands on the floor here. If I wanted to lift my hands off the floor, first I'll lift my belly off my thigh. Then I'll bring my hands up, drawing the shoulders back, heel back. Good. And then I'll bring my hands back down. Then I'm going to walk my hands back to center, turning my feet back to parallel, coming back into this wide-legged forward bend. And again, if I have a hamstring injury, I bend my knees here. Draw the shoulder blades back away from your ears and stretch your arms forward just like you would for dog pose. And you'll see my neck is relaxed here. Now I'm going to walk both my hands towards my right foot, turn back into the lunge, and step back to downward facing dog. And then bring my knees to the floor. We're going to do another couple of lunges, but in between we're going to do some dolphin pose variations. So, first round. Bringing your forearms to the floor, elbows are shoulder width apart, wrists if possible are shoulder width apart. I'm going to tuck my toes under and stretch back into dolphin pose. Relaxing your jaw, feel your shoulder blades wrapping around the side chest here. If you would like to, you could lift your right foot up off the floor, trying to keep your hips parallel and hold that right leg up, pressing back through that heel. And bring that right leg down. And then lift that left leg up. Keeping your side body parallel. So you'll notice I'm not twisting. I'm keeping my hips parallel, my shoulders parallel. Good, then I'm going to bring that leg back down. And I'm going to bring my knees to the floor. Remember, if you don't want to do anything in this practice, please don't. Now, either returning to cat-cow stretches and then coming into a lunge with the left leg forward this time, or coming into downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths. And this time we're going to bring the left leg forward into your lunge. And you're going to drop that left hip back, away from the crown of the head, away from your foot. Good. And when we're more time. If you'd like to lift your belly off the front of the thigh and then try and lift the arms up, do so. This time try and open the arms out wide and try not to open the arms out behind the line of the back, but rather to have them, if anything, slightly forward, like you were hugging a great big beach ball. Opening the arms away from each other, opening the collarbones, trying to keep that left knee directly above that left ankle. Then I'm going to bring my hands down. I'm going to bring both hands to the inside of that left foot, and I'm going to turn to the midline of my body. So for me, I'm going to come over here. And you'll be in the midline of your body, stretching way, way forward with your breastbone. Good. And then walking your hand over towards your right leg. Bend that right knee. Come into a lunge. And you could either have that foot or the hand stay on the floor, or lifting the belly off the front thigh. You could lift the arms out to either side like you were hugging a great big beach ball. Good. Wherever you are, bring those hands back down. Bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. Walk the foot back, the hands to center. Walk both hands towards the left. Turn the left foot out. Come into the lunge, and then step back into downward facing dog position. Bringing your knees to the floor. We're going to do another round of dolphin. Bringing your forearms down to the floor. Broaden your shoulder blades away from each other. Feel them wrapping around the sides of your chest. If you would like to, tuck the toes under and stretch back through those heels. You could stay here, or optionally, lift your left hand up and bring your left hand to your left calf. Do not feel obligated to try this. Take a few deep breaths, and then bring that left arm down. Strictly optional, only if it sounds like fun. Only if you can keep your neck and jaw relaxed. Try lifting up that right arm. Bring that right arm back to that right calf. You'll notice my hips went askew. That's not ideal. I'm trying to keep them parallel. Trying is okay. And then go ahead and bring that arm down. Bring your knees to the floor. And take a few moments of child's pose. Good. Come on up to sitting. Okay. Go ahead and open your legs out into Upavista Konasana, the wide-legged straddle seat position. As always, if it is not comfortable for you to sit flat on the floor, sit on a height, use a cushion, use a folded blanket. And my feet are out to either side. If my knees were painful, I could take a rolled blanket or a cushion, and I could take, or even something like a little roller, and I could put it beneath my knee so that they wouldn't hyperextend. Sometimes that helps me. Right now I'm feeling okay without anything underneath my knees. And I'm going to stretch out through my inner heels, and I'm going to drop my shoulders, and I'm going to relax my jaw. Good. And I'm going to open up my arms again like I was, like we did in that lunge. Maybe you did it, maybe you didn't, but remember we opened our arms out maybe like we were holding a beach ball. And I'm breathing into the back of my chest. Good, and with my arms out like this, I'm gonna rotate towards the right. And what I'm going to try and be aware of is that my arms are going to stay equidistant. So it's going to be tempting to bring my left arm a little more forward and lead with my arms. But I'm going to move my torso as a unit, letting my left pelvic bone roll to the right. And as you can see, I'm not bringing that left arm forward. I'm trying not to anyway. I'm trying to keep my shoulders broad, my shoulder blades broad. Drop the shoulder blades away from the ear. Lift through the abs. Good. And then I'm going to come back to center. And if this was hurting my back, I'd put my hands on the floor and just do the twist with my hands on the floor. So don't try this if it's painful. Please, your body knows best. If this feels okay for you, keep your arms equidistant. Don't let them come closer together. Keep breathing, and I'm working very hard through my core to hold myself up here. But I'm relaxing through my neck, through my jaw, through my face. Then I'm going to come back to center. Whew, bring my arms down. And you could either sit upright here, or you could begin to bend forward any amount. And I had out a chair here to show you that you can have a chair in between your legs and then stretch forward, putting your arms and your forehead on the chair. Feel free to come into whatever version of the pose you want. I'm going to demonstrate that from the side just for anyone who wants to possibly use a chair. You would have your legs out like that. Wherever you are, keep breathing. And we're going to walk both hands towards the right leg. And you can do this if you're upright, right? Or you can do this if you're extended forward. Either way. And we're going to stretch forward just along the inside of that right thigh, flexing the right foot. And again, like earlier, I'm keeping both sides of my chest towards the floor here. I could be doing this as a side bend, but right now we're not. Right now we're doing this as more of a forward bend. So definitely feel that both sides of the torso are facing towards the floor. Good. And then I'm going to bring my hands back to center. And then I'm going to bring both my hands over to the inside of the left foot. Whew. And I'm going to keep on breathing. And I'm going to flex that left foot, and I'm going to broaden the toes. Just a few more deep, full breaths. Really feeling again that you're rotating from both sides of the pelvis so that your torso is towards the floor. Whew. And then we're going to come back to center. And then you're going to slowly lift your legs up, or lift your torso up. That was weird. And then gently bring your legs together. Okay. We're going to do one more kind of big push pose. And you're going to have some options here, some of which include using a belt. So feel free to have a belt close by if you would like to. The first position we're going to come to, the first option position, would be to repeat like we did earlier in class, stretching your left leg out long and bringing your right foot to the inner left thigh, and then taking either just sitting upright or taking a forward bend here. That's option one, so always feel free to come back to that if you would like. Option two, we're going to cross that right ankle over the left thigh with the right foot flexed. And again, you could stay here, you could begin to bend forward. Option three. you could begin to bend that left leg. Now, as you can see, I'm really keeping my spine long, and I might have to lean back a little bit as I come here, but I'm not gonna collapse back. If I was gonna lean back, it would be with a lengthened spine hinging from the hip. I'm pretty mobile in my hips, so I can bend my left knee and come into this position here, and I mean, I feel it, but it's comfortable. So feel free to come here or to go back to either of the two previous positions. We have one more place we can go. If you would like to wrap up that left foot with the belt, you could practice lifting that left leg up off the floor and holding on with the belt. I actually prefer holding it with my hands, but I don't know. I'm probably overusing my shoulders. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears, lifting up with the breastbone. And then if you were taking the full pose, bend that left leg, extend the left leg out, and let's all come out of that. Okay, we're gonna go through that same selection of poses on the second side, and remember, really work where it feels appropriate for you, not what you think would look good. So I'm going to bring my left foot to the inside of my right thigh as option one. I could sit upright or bend forward in Janu Shirshasana. Option two, crossing my left ankle over my right thigh, flexing that foot. Sometimes the pain of the ankle, it feels like the ankle digs into the thigh, and that's the worst part of the pose. You could always feel free to try putting a blanket there. That's helped me in the past. Okay, option three. Again, I'm being very mindful here of my spine. I'm lengthening through my spine, dropping through my shoulders as I bend that right leg, bringing the left thigh closer in towards my chest. Okay, final option. You could use a belt around that foot. You could lift that foot off the floor. The leg could be bent. Drop the shoulders away from the ear. Keep breathing. Open the chest. Take a couple of breaths here. Wherever here happens to be. And then we'll come on out. Release that. Stretch out through the legs. Okay, and let's come on to all fours. And we're gonna do a little bit of just a side-to-side action in our cat-cow. Instead of going up and down, we're gonna bring our low ribs into our body, and just as you exhale, right shoulder comes towards right hip. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center, and just do a few of these, following your own pace of breathing. Good. Okay, and then we'll push back down to sitting on your heels. And then go ahead and come onto your back. And bring your knees in towards your chest. If this isn't comfortable, feel free to take an alternate pose, like maybe having your feet on the floor, knees resting on each other. And then I'm just going to take a hold of my knees and lightly roll my sacrum around my sacrum on the back of my pelvis. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And then I'm going to come back to center. And I'm going to bring my left foot on the floor, and I'm just going to stretch up with my right leg. And I'm going to do a few ankle circles in both directions. And remember, if this hurts your ankle, don't do it. And then just stretch stretch up through that right heel. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears. The leg be active. Left leg, if you want to stretch the left leg out long, feel free to. Knee and toes towards the ceiling. If your left foot is on the floor, the knee is bent. Knee is also directly up towards the ceiling. Good, and then we'll bring that right leg down. Again, right leg could be stretched out or right foot on the floor, whatever you like. Lengthen up through that left leg and begin to circle that ankle unless that hurts the ankle. And if you have a hamstring injury and you need to bend that knee a little bit, do so. And then after you've released some tension from those ankles, just stretch straight up through that left leg and let your upper body relax, neck, jaw, shoulders. Breathe into the back of the chest. Whew. Good, keeping that opposite leg engaged. Bring that top leg down. We're just going to roll up and down into bridge pose a few times. Do it and do a twist. And then come into our Shavasana. So with your feet on the floor, knees are bent, we're not going to come into our deepest ever bridge pose because we're coming towards the end of class. So I'm going to start by just rolling up as I inhale. Rolling down as I exhale, keeping my thighs parallel. And I don't have to come up very high. We haven't been warming up a lot for back bending. Now, if you are someone who, after a couple of rolls up and down, feels like you're a natural back bender and it would feel really good to make your way into a full bridge pose, you can definitely go there. For me right now, I'm just going to do the rolls. That's what feels good for my body, but definitely the same way you can always do something a little down level. You can always up level too, if you're feeling a little more energetic for the back bend than I am tonight. Good. And then next time you roll back down onto the floor, just pause there. Shift your hips to the right. Bring the legs over, rolling onto your left hip, stretching the right arm out to the side. Ooh. Just take a deep, full breath. Bring the legs back up to center. Then I'm going to shift my hips to the left. I'm going to roll over onto my right hip, bringing the legs over to the right, stretching my left arm out at shoulder height. Taking a breath or two there. And then I am going to come right back onto my back. And put my hands on my belly. And just take a few breaths here. And I'm going to notice if when I inhale, I can feel the belly moving into my hands. And when I exhale, I can feel the belly softening away from my hands. And it doesn't have to move that way, just something to notice. Is your belly moving when you breathe? Now I am going to encourage you to come into a Shavasana from here. Our final relaxation pose. Definitely make your body feel as warm and comfortable as possible and lie quietly for about 5 minutes. I would turn off the video to keep it from moving to any autoplay. So I'm going to say namaste, turn off the video, and have a beautiful Shavasana. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.